In the last video, we built a simple model-driven app, but now let's make the app show the data the way that you need to see it. So we can see here on the left, we've got the 4 tables that we added to our model-driven app. And this is a view of the table that is currently selected. Now, imagine if the default view of the data, when the user clicks on the inspections table, doesn't show exactly the way you want the end user to see the data. With views, we can remove columns, we can add columns, we can move the columns around, we can also filter on these columns. So what we're going to do in this case is we're going to remove the created on column, we'll move the inspection status column over to the front, and then we'll also add a filter to it. This will change this default view so anybody that logs in will see the data in the exact same way. Now, before I continue, I'd like to point out that views can be managed at the user level and also at the administrative level. If you're an individual that's creating views, you're able to move columns around as you please, as long as that feature is enabled on that particular table. And in the Views tab here, you can save this as a new personal view. This is a view that is assigned to your profile, and it's also a view you can share with your peers, but it isn't part of the default views that sit within the model-driven app. And the same goes for adding or removing columns or filtering your data. You can add or remove your columns in the Edit Columns table. You can either edit your filters for the table within this Edit Filters button or directly on the column itself. So let's go back to the solution where all of the items that are contained within the solution appear. This is where we'll manage the views at an administrator level. We're going to click on the inspection table. And from here, we're going to go straight into the Views tab. Now we can see all of the views that have been created for various reasons. In this case, we're just looking at the view that appears when you click on the table. So we can see here this view is called Active Inspections. We're going to open up Active Inspections. We're going to save this view because we like to keep the default views where possible. I'm going to call it New Inspections. And now we're ready to do some edits. So let's say the created on is a column that we don't want to see. We're going to remove it. And if we want to add any other columns that are in the table that aren't appearing here, we can select them from the left. So we're going to bring in inspection type. And I'd also like to move the status to the second column. Now in this view, we can also filter columns. So let's say we wanted to add a filter on this column where we don't want to see the completed stuff. We only want to see the stuff that's in progress or pending. We can select that, apply it. And now we're going to save and publish. Now that we're back in our Views tab, we can see our new inspections view that we created. And if we go over to our model-driven app and we hit the drop down next to the name of the view, we can see that our new view is available in here. If we go back to our views and we want this view to be our default view, we can hit the 3 dots, set as default. And now this view will be the view that pops up when somebody opens the model-driven app. So let's go back to our model-driven app, quickly refresh. Now we can see this new view that we created is the default view when you click on inspections. We can see our inspection status column is sitting where we had moved it to. We can also see that the created on date column is no longer there. In the next video, we'll add some color to our table. We'll format the colors to the status, so it's green for complete, orange for pending, and blue for in progress. This helps for a good visual cue to know what the status is of that particular line item.